Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you is how to make different kinds of paint um, out of things that you can have at home, that you'd have at home. It's hard for me to show you me and the things, so I'm going to just tip it down for a minute. So I just have a bag of Skittles, that's all, and I'm going to take them and dump them out. These are some just random colors I have in here. So what I'm going to do is I have this little pan, and I'm going to sort the colors, just like 2 or 3 in each one of the similar colors. The best part about this is if your kids like Skittles, they can eat the leftovers. So see, I just put them in here, and then I'm just going to do, for this, I'm just going to do a little drop of water in each one. So if you have a dropper, you could actually have it as an activity for your kids to play, to help with. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit and put some water in each one of these. So you see, I just put, hard to see, but I've just put a little water in them, and I'm going to let those sit in there while I make the other paint. So the next paint is cornstarch paint. So you just put a little bit of cornstarch. Again, I'm going to use the same pan, and I'm going to put a little bit each one in like 3, and I'm going to make 3 different colors. And surprisingly, like, this is sticky when you're using it, but it's an activity best for paint, some kind of brush or tool. So just put a little bit in each one. I'm literally putting probably a teaspoon, if that, in each one of these little ones. These are kind of small. If you want to make more paint, because you're going to do it with multiple kids, you can do that. And you could also use a muffin tin, which is deeper, so the kids won't make as much of a mess. So I just put the cornstarch in 3 of these little holes here. And now I'm going to take some food coloring. I'm going to put just, doesn't take much, maybe a drop, because cornstarch is clear. So I'm going to make some yellow. I'm going to make some pink. Maybe I'll make, what else I got in here? Maybe I'll make some purple. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just making 3 different colors here. And then once I get the food coloring in it, I am just going to paintbrush or toothpick or popsicle sticks or whatever you have around, and I'm just going to mix them up. See, I'm just going to stir it in there. You see the color, it is kind of thick. It's a thicker paint, but what's cool about it is it's really shiny, and even when it dries, and the best part is when it dries, it's not sticky at all. So you don't have to worry about that once it dries. So I'm just mixing each one of these up. And in the meantime, my Skittles ones are kind of forming the paint right now. Whoops. And I'm making a giant mess. I'm going to put the wrong end of the brush in. So I just want to show you real quick these, how cool these paints are. And the end here, they're really bright, vibrant colors, the bottom colors there. So those are really cool, and they'll make really vibrant colors on paper too. And then I'm going to take a brush now and see what how my Skittles ones are doing. And same thing, I'm just going to mix them up. And once the Skittles are all white, when the color's all gone off them, you just take the Skittles out. Get rid of those. And then you can paint with it. Now the Skittle ones will come out, because it's not as thick, the Skittle one's going to come out more like a watercolor paint. Let me just get rid of these brushes so I don't, that's what I'm showing you. So I'll take this down here so you can see. So these are the Skittle ones. You can see they're nice dark colors, but they are going to come out more of a watercolor wash, so not as dark. And then these ones are the corn syrup, much darker. And then there's one more I'm going to show you how to make, and that is pudding paint, which if you've been in it for a while, I'm sure you've painted with pudding. You can use pudding in the cups already pre-made if you want. That's fine. It'll be really thick, like almost like a finger paint. and it's messier to play with. And because there is milk in those ones, it doesn't last as long. This, you could take, I happen to have some lemon sitting here. So you take lemon, or actually you could take vanilla because it's not as dark of a color. Lemon's all I had. And I'm just going to make a tiny batch of it. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and put it in a bowl. And what you would do is you could make a whole batch of it. And then you're going to mix it with really cold water. And then again, once you get that cold water in there, you're going to stir it up. The one thing about the pudding paint is if you're making your own and not using the pre-made pudding, is you have to let it sit in the fridge for a few hours or overnight, either way. And that's what gives it to be a thicker paint. I won't be able to show you how to paint with this one today, but you can see that it's, right now it's really liquidy, like pudding is when you first mix it. Let's see. But once you let it sit, it should thicken up. And again, same as with all the other paints, you're going to add colors to it, whatever color you want to make with it. But because this is, I'm going to add a little more yellow to this just because it's already yellow, but you can add other colors to it. And then just stir it up. Now I get a much better yellow color. Like I said, it just has to sit for a while to kind of thicken. And if it doesn't seem thick enough for what you want, you can always add more of the powder to it. And then let it sit for a little bit. Just stirring it up. And then I'm going to throw it in the fridge real quick. Maybe I'll pause this video so that I can show you once the pudding is a little thicker, and show you what we can do with each of the paints and what the project we're going to create with the paints. So I think that's it for the different kinds of paints that you can make. One other kind you can do, which is fun if you want to do this, it's not edible though, is shaving cream, glue, and food coloring. Makes a really good paint too that really dries really nice too and gives it a nice texture to it. So I'm going to pause the video and then I will start it back up once we get our pudding paint and stuff going to make our art project.